Darling, how are your shoulder mounts? Whether you're new to these or you've been doing these for a while, I've got some amazing tips that are really going to save you some extra energy and make it a little bit easier for you as you do them. Shoulder mounts are absolutely iconic and a must for all pole dancers to train, and within them they open up so many cool shapes and variations and moves, as well as entrances and exits into other moves. So let's go ahead and take a look. The biggest thing I would say about the mindset shift of the shoulder mount, rather than thinking about lifting your legs up and over your head, I want you to think about pulling your knees into your chest and rolling yourself into a nice little ball. Before you know it, then you're going to be upside down with those hips overhead. I recommend starting this from the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and lower down. You can always get a mat if you'd like. For shoulder mount on the pole, I would pick a shoulder. For this drill, I'm going to be right in the center of my head, about 1 inch away. From here, I'm going to take my Barbie arms, straight wrists, no thumbs. 90 degrees in the elbow, up overhead. Now what's important here is I want to think about what it would feel like to pull the pole out of the ceiling. I'd have to actually pull it down and out. That's going to be my elbows pulling towards my ribs. Simultaneously, while I'm engaging that, I'm going to pull my knees to my chest, to my shoulders, knees to the floor for my straddle. And then I'm going to work on that slow reverse out. So that's where you want to get started. We can eventually get that a little bit harder with straighter legs, coming up higher, and eventually going up and over. But I really want to focus on that tight knee to shoulders as we go up, whether my knees are straight or bent. Whoop. So one more thing on the floor. If we want a little bit more of a help, we're going to add a yoga block. I'm going to come up, let that be on my lower back. I'm going to come into a side. So my inside shoulder hand will be low. My outside shoulder hand will be high. From here, I'm going to think about pulling in, doing my roll, and just seeing if I can pop those hips off just a little bit. This is a tummy tuck. I'm going to pull my pubic bone in and try to touch those toes. This is a nice little assist. Boop, boop. To come out, make sure you hold those ribs and come out nice and slow. You can try a little bit more harder challenge by working it further down your hips. Let's take it up the pole. While we're working on our shoulder mounts, we can do this by working on our rolling through and really coming into that tucking position. I really want us to focus there. We can also add a little bit of a jump to get our hips a little more va-va-voom to get them up, and I'm totally okay with that as well as we're learning. So let's look about how we can start taking it up the pole. I like to start, again, not quite all the way standing, maybe something a little bit more conservatively on my knees. From here, let's find that shoulder setup. Inside arm is low. Outside arm is going to be high. Shoulders are pulling down. I'm going to think about my elbows pulling towards my hips, and I'm going to let my hips slide forward, coming into my tuck position here. Maybe I just do a few here to feel that squeeze. Eventually I can take my balls. And then we're going to just continue to take that up the pole. Taking it higher and higher, we can add more challenge until we're standing, taking it into that tuck. And eventually, we can work to having a nice tall stand, almost a negative starting position, to then work on our deadlifts. Yeah. Again, it's all about rolling all of your weight in towards your center as much as possible, keeping your elbows tight. From there, keep your body out here. Be careful not to go up too high with those hips because that can make us fall down. So once we get up there, make sure our hips are staying more or less in line with our shoulders until we know if those legs are going to go up or come back down into another movement. I'm going to pull, be tight, keep them low, and then I can decide if I want to slide them up or down. Okay, darling, and my final tip for shoulder mounts is getting your blue squishies. This is just an old yoga mat that's seen better days. We cut it up, and what's so great about this, slip it into your shirt, into your bra strap, protect those collarbones. So it's very important our placement is exactly on our trapezius, on this meaty part of our muscle. We want to avoid these bony landmarks out to the side, through the clavicle, as well as the pole is going to touch our neck, but it's just nice rested on top of that nice little triangular muscle. Use those blue squishies. All right, darling, best of luck. Go get those shoulder mounts, and we'll see you next time.